15 minutes it got delayed. So we started the session pretty late and about half an hour late. So,
Okay.
but still
Um,
we are not very delayed. Like we'll start in next 2 minutes, ma'am.
okay, sir. Fine.
Oh, uh, all right, all right. We can have a bit chit chat by the time others people join, ma'am. Your school's open, ma'am.
Yes, sir. And I would again like to ask, am I audible? Because I had some problem at the very last minute with my laptop. My camera is not working, so I am using an external one. And my mic is troubling me. That's why I am talking through my phone. So I hope it's all working out.
It's completely good, all audible. So you
Okay,
can,
fine.
yeah, yeah, you're. But
Yes.
then this only thing, the video from a different feed and audio from a different feed. That's only difference.
Yes.
Otherwise, everything else is fine.
Okay, I will stop doing that also. I need to use my laptop only to show one video. For that, I need to
No, ma'am, you can
access my
continue. You
presentation.
can continue. No issue, ma'am.
Okay.
All is well. That's all. No issue, ma'am. You can continue
Okay.
using both the devices.
Okay, sir.
In the
Yes, my
meantime,
school is open.
you also shared some document. You want to use that document once we start the presentation or earlier?
Actually, it would be better if they already read it. It's just 2 pages long, so it won't take a lot of time.
So the audience who are connected, if you can give them a bit instruction,
Yes, yes, sir. Sir, how many participants do we have?
generally around 100, more than 100 join as of now, 50 are there. So at least they will read. They can use the time.
Okay. Yes, so I think
I'll
in your
introduce you
WhatsApp.
formally. I'll introduce you formally. By the time you can just give informal introduction as
Yes,
of now.
yes, sir. Okay. So all of you who are present here, I am Reshmi Irani, and I
I'll
work.
introduce you family, ma'am. Formally, I'll introduce. As of now,
Okay,
just
okay.
I'd like to
Okay,
let you know
so
that ma'am has shared one PDF, and
I
I
have
have
shared
shared
a
that
PDF.
mm,
Yes,
in
with
all the
Ganga.
groups. I have shared that.
Yes. So I think you have a PDF in your group, in your WhatsApp group. I request everyone to please go through the PDF. It's a very short story, and I'm very sure that you will enjoy it. So please do that. It will take you 2 minutes or 3 minutes to read. So by the time that others join, you can please go through the PDF.
The PDF is shared in all the groups. Four groups there are. One is your group, the other online group, and two groups of Madhya Pradesh. All the teachers. I have shared in all the groups. So wherever you can get hold of that, please do go through that.
PDF is not visible in on the screen, sir.
No, no, we're not sharing it. It's shared in the WhatsApp group. Please share from, please
Okay,
use it
okay.
from there. Or we can, ma'am, if you allow, we can also share it from here.
Yes, sir. Definitely.
So the PDF is with me. Should I share or you want to share?
So you can share it.
I'll share it. Okay, so that they can read it at least here on the screen itself.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Actual में 373 is the 100 degree centigrade.
100 degrees centigrade. All right, I am sharing a window and this PDF. I hope it is there, ma'am.
Yes, sir. It is
Now
there.
it's there.
Please go through that. All of you silently. We are not reading it out to you. ऑल ऑफ यू रिक्वेस्ट टू राइट रिपीट इट अगेन. हम एक पीडीएफ शेयर किए हैं, 1.5 पेज की 2 पेज की स्टोरी है. मैम ने रिक्वेस्ट किया कि प्रीज रिक्विजिट है, आपको अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन करने के लिए स्टोरी शेयर किया है मैम ने. आप ध्यान से इसे पढ़ें. मैम कुछ इससे रिलेटेड क्वेश्चंस हो सकता है करेंगी और आपसे इंटरेक्शन डिस्कशन होगा. सो दिस विल बी यूज्ड एज एन एक्टिविटी in the discussion, so please go through it. I've shared it from here. I'll scroll it down with time. I'll also read along with you, and I'll scroll it once I reach to that level. So you are requested to read it. Thank you. All right, I think it's high time we should start now. There are 64 participants, and I hope they have gone through the story because I read it very slowly. So I hope all of those who are there or looking at the screen must have read it. So it's already 4:19, and we must start. It's very late now. So good afternoon, everyone. We are going to start the last session of the fourth day, and today we have with us Ms. Reshmi Irani. Ma'am is a postgraduate teacher in English at Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan, currently posted at Kendriya Vidyalaya number 2, Gorakhpur. Ma'am has really been a very good teacher, very good teacher, I'll say. And recently, she had also been into training. I met ma'am in the year 2019 and was so inspired by her way she wanted to be a teacher and the curiosity she had to learn. From there, we had a lot of discussion, and I think today we are on this platform where ma'am is sharing a lot of her teaching experience as to how to be a good teacher and how to bring experiences in the classroom. So I think it must have will be a very wonderful session. Ma'am is going to discuss about experiential learning, and a lot of things will come from ma'am's personal experience of being a teacher. How you can bring learners' experience in the classroom and make it very very interactive for learners. So over to you, ma'am. You can continue with the discussion, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Okay, good evening, everyone, once again. So you can stop sharing your screen
Good evening,
because I will be
everyone.
sharing my screen once. Yes, good evening, sir. Good evening, ma'am. Sir has already introduced me. I teach English, like all of you. And today our topic is experiential learning. Before we go into that, you all read the story, correct? Right? I have one question related to that story. Was the ending of the story happy or sad? What is your opinion on the climax of the story?
Happy.
And let us talk to each other.
Rajputji, you said
Yes,
it was a happy ending. Can you comment on that?
yes, Rajput sir.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Because the boy was happy at the end when the teacher said there will be a monotone class if he give him instruction. Then the boy was
Okay,
very excited and he became happy. So we can say that the ending is happy.
okay. Rajput sir's opinion is that it was a happy ending. The story had a happy ending. I think Rajiv Kumar Pathak sir wants to say something. Anybody else who does not agree to this or wants to add
Rajesh
anything?
Srivastava sir said it is not happy. He can unmute
Okay.
and comment.
Yes, Rajiv Srivastav sir is saying it's not happy. Archana ma'am is saying it's not happy. I said Rajiv sir because he's unmuting himself. So, sir, if you want to speak something, please do. So, those who are saying that it is not a happy story, I would like to know the reason because sir has explained very well that the teacher said that it's going to be now not monotonous. The class is not going to be monotonous from now on. So, it's supposed and Pooja Gandhi ma'am also agrees to that. But those who are not agreeing to it, they should also speak up. Please justify. Rajesh Srivastav sir, Gandhi ma'am, why do you think?
Ma'am, I am in the way. Actually, after 5 minutes, I will just try.
Okay, so you are outside. Archana Srivastav ma'am, you are also of the opinion that it was not a happy ending. So why? Why not a happy ending?
Hello,
Okay.
ma'am. I'm Sushma. Can I say something?
Yes, yes, ma'am, sure.
Ma'am, I think the boy was in the habit of getting directions from the teacher. Means the teacher used to tell what is right and what is wrong, what painting he has to draw. And in the second part, when he sees that teacher is not directing, he got upset. Maybe he's not liking that.
Okay. So
Uh,
now I am of the opinion that it was not a very happy ending. I will tell my reasons. The child initially started drawing like he would like to draw. Initially, in the first part, he was always very excited about drawing and he would come up with his own ideas. And after several interruptions by the teacher, who was actually guiding him, she was not meaning any harm to the boy. She was guiding the boy. So she was instructing him a lot. And in the end, yes, I don't know if I'm reading your name correctly, sir, but your surname is Shivpuri. Shivpuri, sir, he got the point actually that he forgot to think independently. Is my voice not audible? There is somebody who's saying that my voice is not audible.
Safia ma'am. My name is Safia ma'am.
Okay,
Thank
okay,
you, ma'am.
okay. It is audible. Okay. So at the end, the boy actually forgot to think independently. So that is actually the essence of this story. And I think all teachers, irrespective of what subject they teach, they should they should actually go through this story once. And if you have the PDF now, I request you to share it with your colleagues. And before we really start discussing, I have one little video which I have to show because it's my favorite part of this topic. A favorite character of mine. I'm going to share my screen now. Just a second. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
You, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. So that was the video.
Ma'am, it was not visible. I think, can you share it again?
Okay,
If you share it as a tab,
okay, sir. Actually,
or you
shared
can
it as.
share the link to me, I will share it from here.
Okay, sir. I'm sharing the link. It will just take a second. Or it can be shared later also in the group
Yes,
because
ma'am,
I
up to you.
think we do not
Yes,
have
ma'am,
that
up to you.
time. So okay. So I am not sharing it now. I'm just giving the link to sir and he can share it with you. The link was actually, it was a video of a child and the child was in school and there were certain images. It would have been really great if I could show that. The images were that the child was being fed. He was being fed knowledge. Things were being put into his brain. He was in a cycle which was continuously running. I think all of you have seen that hamster wheel where we have a rat or a guinea pig who keeps on running. And for the child, he expressed it that it was just a normal school day. So for that child, school day means these things being put into his brain, following a routine. So this type of thinking or this type of schooling is now called conventionally boring or traditional classes, which are now not at all working for the 21st century learners. All of you have been teachers for quite a few years, and I think all of you have observed how children have changed. When I was a student, The exposure I had is very different from the exposure which my students have right now. So the approach also has to change. And because we have realized this, the modern educationists, we have realized this need that now we cannot really go back to that chalk and blackboard method. We cannot go back to rote memorization. And that is why there have been a lot of talk on novel pedagogies, new ways, new methodologies of teaching and learning. So today the topic is experiential learning, which also is not just a single pedagogy, but like an umbrella term. It's like an umbrella term under which you will find a lot of different methodologies. So we need to learn and we need to revise our concept of experiential learning. So I'm presenting a PPT now, and with the help of that, we will be doing this entire session. Is my PPT visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, visible.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And also, the video is right here. You won't be able to hear the audio, but you can see a few images which I mentioned. It's just a few seconds of a clip. So you can just see how things are being poured into the brain of the child. It's like it's in a factory. The image of a worker, the image of a robot, the image of a parrot, and here's a zombie, a block like of uniform shape. Every child will be shaped in that block. And you can see a fish which is gasping for air. And at the end, another typical school day. So, could you connect some of these images with what schooling used to be like? Please, anybody would like to share their opinion on these images? Anything? Do you think this kind of schooling will work for students?
I
Come
don't
on.
think, ma'am, such kind of schooling is just good for a child actually because he's being forced there actually, and whatever he wants to learn, he is not just getting from such in such situation.
Correct. So, sir,
Actually, he's
can
not
you
interested in that.
yes, that he is not at all interested in that.
This
But
is just
all of us,
information gathering.
yes, exactly, information gathering. But we know this that every year the syllabus changes, the content changes. Then why this boredom? What is the reason of this boredom? If things are changing from class to class, they are learning new concepts, they are learning new stories, then why this boredom? What could be the reason?
Because of our traditional system actually we are not just in the condition to change it now. It has started changing, and then the students have taken the interest, and the
Exactly.
school has.
Yes, sir. Thank you. The content has variety. The content has variety. A child going from class fifth to sixth, sixth to seventh, they are learning new things. They are getting new things. But what is not changing is perhaps the way we are teaching it. If I am in the habit of teaching in certain way and I find it to be the best and I do not try anything new, then it is boredom for the child. So here comes something called experiential learning, where we want to break the walls. Why do we need experiential learning? First of all, as we know that there are exams, right, all around the world. But if the purpose of exams just becomes to go to the next senior or higher class, then the purpose of education fails. And it has become perhaps more challenging these days, and that we are talking about it so much because of the ushering in of these 21st century skills that we need our children to learn. Correct? So, today's objective for this session is that we will understand what experiential learning is. We will discuss the benefits of experiential learning over some of the conventionally used methods. We will understand Cobb's experiential learning cycle. There are many educationists who have given us concepts of experiential learning, but Cobb has given a very practical approach to experiential learning, which is not just theory but can be put into practical use just after this session and very rationally. Not it's not like we do not have any steps to follow. It is going to be very strategic. The Cove's experiential learning cycle. I think somebody's mic is on. And finally, reflect on how experiential language learning can take place in our own classrooms. So again, a question and the answer is quite rhetoric. I can understand that if you want to learn how to play basketball, which one will you do? These are the four options. You can write the options in the chat box also. Read a book on basketball, watch a video, talk to someone who likes basketball, get a ball and practice on the court with a friend. Your answers, please. I'm looking down again and again because I have my phone also.
Get a
So
ball
I
Get
and
a
will
practice
ball
on the
and
court with a friend.
exactly. I told you that the question is quite rhetoric. We know this answer. That if somebody wants to learn how to play basketball, the best way will be get the ball, start practicing it. Other things will follow. The rules and the rules of the game, where does the penalty come, and etc. That will come. But the first thing is that experience of holding a ball. That is what a child needs to do in order to learn basketball. So, jumping straight into it, what is experiential learning? The word, I think, describes it properly, but I would like to hear some of you if you have any idea. I think you have. What is experiential learning? Anyone?
Doing it and then learning it.
Doing it,
Do and learn.
do and learn. Very good. Thank you. Vijay sir, your mic is on. Could you please mute it? Some background noise is coming. Yes, thank you, sir. So, experiential learning, when we talk about it, the first quote, and you will find it in so many books, is I hear and I forget, I see and I remember, and I do and I understand. So, learning is a process where knowledge is created through transformation of experience. This is said by Coe in 1984. Experiential learning is nothing new, it has been there, but right now we are adapting to it more. So, according to experiential learning theorists, according to this concept, learning is a process where knowledge cannot be fed to a child, it can be created by what we experience. Learning will happen when there is some connection with real life. If we are only following certain rules and regulations, that will not lead to successful learning. That can lead to rote memorization, that can also lead to 100 by 100 score in a test. But that will not lead to any meaningful experience that will help the child in real life. Going back to the first slide, this one, you can see on the left hand side there are certain words. The first four are called the four C's of 21st century skills. 21st century skills: collaboration, creativity, critical thinking, and communication. Our children, they need to come out of this rote loop that you see on the right hand side. If they are only learning for exams, they are passing exam and then they are forgetting what they learned. That is not going to be meaningful in their real life. So education today should focus on each and every chapter that you teach. You have to find out the relevance to their with their life. And with experiential learning, you will be able to see that they synthesize the information, they become critical thinkers, they become more creative, they learn teamwork, they learn reasoning, they learn how to solve problems because these things are going to help. Not memorizing what David said to Roger at the end of the day. This question, the answer to this will fetch them 2 marks. That is necessary. I am not saying that that's not necessary. That shows their comprehension. But if these things are done in an experiential sort of way, then they will remember not just the content, but they will learn something alongside which is going to help them in real life. So, what are the activities? that can be done for experiential learning? Do we have any examples here? Experiential learning is learning by doing, that is, doing certain activities and learning. But there is more to it, which we will come later, which we will come to later on. But experiential learning, please give me a few examples. How can you do experiential learning in class? Anybody? In language class, we are focusing on just our subject. Any activity that you do which you think falls under the category of experiential learning? Learning by doing. करेंगे तो सीखेंगे, यही कॉन्सेप्ट है. कुछ करते हुए जब हम सीखते हैं, that is experiential learning. So ऐसा कोई भी एग्जाम्पल जहां आप सोचते हो कि बच्चों से हम ये कराते हैं तो वो कुछ सीखते हैं, other than just memorizing the question answers? No?
Yeah. For example, yeah,
Yes, sir.
ma'am, for example, if we want to teach article, if we get them to experience a dhvani without you can't pronounce next word. If we ask them to call pen, if we say a pen, that there is a rhythm. So they experience that a is compulsory before a consonant. But with vowels, it is impossible to call such sound. Then we add n or un. If we get a student to experience this, then they will never forget to use a before a consonant and n before vowels. So I use this method to experience them the sound I and n for using articles. Same is the case with the. Same is the case with the. Because there are articles da and di, they get very confused when we have to say the or when we have to say the. Same rule, if there is a consonant and vowels. So I got them to differentiate between consonant and vowels and ask them to practice it. Then they have learned it and they solve the problem in the examination very well.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Yes.
I think, ma'am, if you are teaching imperative sentence, then it may be just very helpful if you ask them to just do the things actually. Imperative sentence may be just, if for example, straight up, down, go there, come here, like that.
Right, right. Thank you so much, sir. So somehow we are also coming to a very important aspect of experiential learning, which is the senses, the five senses, right? The five senses, we will come to that. But just in the examples, you could see how the listening skills, the speaking skills, everything is being used, right? So experiencing and learning, this will reinforce the ideas in the students, and along the way, they will learn more things. I am showing a few examples, and this is not it actually. There could be more examples, but these are few examples of experiential learning. Could somebody read it out?
Role play, field trips, games and puzzles, hands-on experiments, interviews, films and documentaries, art and craft, group work, community outreach program, design thinking, project works, portfolio, visual and performing activities, group work, peer learning.
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am. I think group work, it's repeated. So these are a few examples which we can do, which we can connect with any topic that we are doing, and it'll just become an experiential learning activity. So we just need to find the right place, find the right context, and then use some of these examples, some of these techniques, so that the students experience and they learn. So, what is experiential learning? So far from our discussion, that we have understood that experiential learning is quite simply learning by doing. And very important point is that in experiential learning, we have to focus on the learning process rather than outcomes. This is what makes experiential learning different from just ordinary learning. What do I mean? The meaning is that while experiential learning, for example, they are doing a play and they have been asked to do the role play. While they are doing it, on the process of comprehending the play, they are actually understanding how to deliver dialogues. When somebody's dialogue is like somebody is saying something in an angry tone, the child, when they will be reading it out, they will have to do that. So their sense of tone, intonation, how voice has to be, the voice modulation, these things they learn along the process. So that is there. The process of learning is grounded in experience. That means the students, when they start learning, they have to question their previous knowledge as well as all the beliefs and ideas that they had earlier. So while they are learning something new, they are comparing. So whatever experience they had, they are comparing it with the new experience they get. And that learning is a transactional process. That learning cannot happen in a linear way. We teachers, we cannot be a single mode of transmission of information. We cannot just give them information. हम ऐसा नहीं सोच सकते कि हम उनको सिर्फ एक तरीके से देते जाएंगे, वो उसको ग्रहण करते जाएंगे और फिर वो एग्जाम में बहुत अच्छा परफॉर्म करेंगे. हमको उन्हें इन्वॉल्व करना है. जैसा कि हमें बताया भी जाता है, द क्लासरूम पार्टिसिपेशन रेशियो ऑफ टीचर इज टू स्टूडेंट इज नॉट 80:20. It should be 20:80. बच्चे 80% करेंगे, हमको 20% करना है. तो ये नहीं हो पाएगा जब तक हम इस तरीके की पेडागोजी नहीं इस्तेमाल करेंगे. तब तक हम सोचेंगे हम क्या करें क्लास में, फिर हम क्या करें. अगर हमको 20% बोलना है, उनको 80% काम करना है, तो उनको 80% काम कराने के लिए हमको ये सारी चीजें करनी पड़ेंगी. Let us come back to this later. Let us directly go to Cope's cycle of experiential learning. जब तक हम Cope's experience this cycle of learning नहीं समझते, तब तक हमको ये सारी चीजें अभी लगेगा एब्स्ट्रैक्ट है. उन्होंने बहुत कॉन्क्रीट तरीके से हमको एक फॉर्मूला दे दिया है कि आप इतना मत सोचो, हियर इज द फॉर्मूला, यू पुट एनीथिंग इनटू दिस फॉर्मूला and you will get your experiential learning successfully done in the class. So Cope's cycle of experiential learning has 4 stages. 4 stages हैं. One is concrete experience. The second is reflective observation. The third is abstract conceptualization. And the fourth is active experimentation. Is the screen visible? I think it is.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So you can see that this is a cycle which is like a never-ending cycle. It's not like it is a linear way. It's like a cycle, one step to another. Now, concrete experience. What does it mean? From the very words we understand, concrete experience means that the children are directly engaged in any activity while they are doing it. That is the concrete experience. When the students experience certain things, they are just experiencing it, and assessment and observation, that is not a part of it. Of course, they have it in their mind that they will have to reflect on it later, but right now they are just engaged in the activity completely. So we have to design an activity and the students will be able to get engaged in it, right? We need to design it properly. Next comes when the activity is over. The children have completed the activity. Now we come to reflective observation. In reflective observation, what are the children supposed to do? The learners will think of what they just did, what were the feelings that they had. And of course, when they are feeling that, I just discussed something that it is a process where experience, there is a statement that, experience will happen if you violate expectations. Violate expectations. That means children have some preconceived notions. उन्हें कुछ चीजें पता है. जब वो कोई चीज कॉन्क्रीट एक्सपीरियंस कर रहे हैं, उस समय क्या हो रहा है, उनको कुछ नई चीजें पता चल रही हैं. तो जब उन्हें नई चीजें पता चल रही हैं और पुरानी चीजें पता थी, ये सेकंड स्टेज पे वो क्या कर रहे हैं, वो रिफ्लेक्ट कर रहे हैं कि हमने क्या सीखा, अच्छा वो उसके साथ कैसे कनेक्टेड है. सो दिस इज देयर रिफ्लेक्शन. They are thinking back on the activity that they did, noticing what happened and relating to past experience and conceptual understanding. उनको जो भी अभी तक अंडरस्टैंडिंग है उसके साथ वो लोग उस चीज को रिफ्लेक्ट कर रहे हैं. ये रिफ्लेक्शन ऐसा नहीं है कि वो अंदर ही अंदर कर रहे हैं. No, you being the teacher, you can initiate a discussion in the class where children or groups, they will come up with their observations, their remarks on what they did in the activity. उन्होंने क्लास में जो आपने एक्टिविटी कराई उसमें उन्होंने क्या सीखा, उन्होंने क्या फील किया, उसके बारे में वो खुल के बोलेंगे. एक बच्चा बोलेगा, दो बच्चा बोलेगा, तीन बच्चा बोलेगा. इससे एक बहुत अच्छी चीज हमें पता चलेगी दैट चिल्ड्रन फील इन डिफरेंट वेज. And here is why it's very important for us teachers to do this, because we are only one brain. We can think of certain things in one direction. Perhaps we will try and think of all the possible angles. But when a class of 40 is engaged into one experience, they will have the experience in different ways and they will come up with their own reflections. 40 बच्चे 40 opinions, ऐसा भी हो सकता है. It is going to be quite effective for them. Right? Then ये हो गया second stage. Coming to the third one, abstract conceptualization. Very important. Only reflecting will not do. आप सिर्फ reflect कर रहे हो उससे नहीं होगा. आपको अब अपने concepts को एक लाना पड़ेगा, एक form में लाना पड़ेगा. यहाँ पे theory काम आती है. For example, if you were teaching tenses, so जो भी theory है वो आप इसमें instill कीजिए. So that students are able to now form concepts. कोई hypothesis form करें वो लोग, कोई idea form करें. Now this is coming to form. अभी तक experience किया, reflect किया. Now they are forming into something concrete. कि हाँ हमने ये सीखा, एक concept उन्होंने develop करा. That is the third stage, which is abstract conceptualization. So it is distilling perceptions into abstract concepts. So whatever they perceived, now they have put it together, and that is abstract conceptualization. After this, only one step is remaining, which is active experimentation, which is whatever you learned, now you apply it. So testing new ideas, honing skills in a new experience, this is where this happens. Okay, so you can see how this circle is complete with somebody experiencing something, feeling it completely, reflecting on it, making the ideas concrete, and then applying it also. I think all of you can think of one concept right now which you can completely do following this process. Is this clear? Some feedback, please. Is the course cycle of experiential learning clear? Okay, thank you, Rajesh sir.
It is inductive learning, I think.
Yes, sir. So, of course, and one word which I have not used so far is the child-centric learning, which is the norm of today, and I think it was always there. Somewhere in the middle, maybe a few things got here and there, and certain traditional concepts took a very much predominant or dominant role in schools. But it is, of course, understood by all good teachers that the students have to be engaged, and that is when we will have successful learning. In this cycle, there are two dialectically opposite concepts. Can you see those two things which are matching each other? Wait. See, in this I have actually shown concrete experience and abstract conceptualization is where the students grasp knowledge or they grasp the experience. Sorry. And in reflective observation and active experimentation is where they are doing. So in these two, that is concrete experience and abstract conceptualization, they are receiving, and in active experimentation and reflective observation, they are doing. And when I say they are receiving by their own experiences. We are only designing things, we are only supervising things for them. And we are doing things to maximize learning. That is going to be our role, right? So let me show you an example. I think it's not that visible. I will zoom into it one by one. So this is, or before I do this, can you choose a topic and tell me how you will do that topic in class using these 4 steps? Or should I go first? Should I go first?
Yeah, ma'am, you should go, please.
Okay, sir. So then I would really like to know some of your some examples. Okay, that how you are going to do the activity according to Cope's experiential theory. So this is a very small example of poster making. 1 second. Yes, this is on poster making. So for concrete experience, the students will be divided into groups. A video presentation of a collage of demonstrations will be shown, which will show the use of posters, slogans, placards, etc. A video demonstration of collage, video presentation of collage, as in जैसे बहुत सारे रैली वगैरह की वीडियो हम उन्हें दिखा सकते हैं कि ये देखो ये किसान आंदोलन का फोटो है, ये इधर का ऐसे कुछ हुआ था, ये कोई रैली थी इसकी फोटो है, ताकि हम एक प्रेजेंटेशन बना के उनको दिखाएंगे कैसे डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन पे लोग जाते हैं. और जब कोई जाता है कहीं ऐसी जगह पे, यूजुअली वो लोग पोस्टर्स कैरी करते हैं, तो वो लोग वीडियो में वो चीज देखेंगे. देन each group will be given a situation of making a written presentation giving details of their event, product, cause, etc. हमें पता है पोस्टर्स बहुत तरीके की चीजों के लिए यूज की जाती हैं. हम पोस्टर्स किसी पब्लिक इनविटेशन के लिए भी बना सकते हैं कि बुक फेयर है खड़गपुर में तो आइए. किसी डाउरी स्टॉप करने के लिए अगेंस्ट डाउरी भी हम पोस्टर बना सकते हैं. और हमारा कोई कोचिंग सेंटर खोल रहे हैं, हम उसके लिए भी पोस्टर बना सकते हैं. तो हम बच्चों को एक एक सिचुएशन दे देंगे. उनको पोस्टर के बारे में भी कुछ नहीं बता रहे हैं हम उनको बताएंगे कि देखो तुम्हारा ये सिचुएशन है, तुम एक कोचिंग सेंटर खोल रहे हो. हर ग्रुप को अलग सिचुएशन देंगे और उनको एक A4 साइज शीट देंगे और उन्हें कहेंगे कि आपको अपने इस एक्टिविटी और अपने इस इवेंट के बारे में आपके शहर के लोगों को बताना है. तो आप करो, क्या करना है आप इसमें बनाओ जैसा भी बनाना है. वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू गिव देम एनी इंस्ट्रक्शंस, ऑल्दो वी नो दैट अ पोस्टर हैज टू हैव अराउंड 50 वर्ड्स ओनली, उससे ज्यादा नहीं होना है. So we are not giving them anything like that. We are just giving them this activity. On completion of this activity, the students should be asked to put it up in the class. Blackboard पे ही लगा दे या कहीं पे छोटा छोटा सेलोटेप से they make a gallery kind of a thing. वहां पे उन्होंने इस चीज को डिस्प्ले कर दिया. ये हो गया हमारा कॉन्क्रीट एक्सपीरियंस. बच्चों ने एक्सपीरियंस की एक चीज, उन्होंने वो जब कर रहे होंगे उनका दिमाग बहुत तरीके से चला होगा. Second stage is reflective observation. Here, the A4 size sheets will be put up in the classroom like we did it in the last step, and the students will be asked to observe each other's work. The students here will engage in peer assessment and discuss the features of each display. हर ग्रुप हर दूसरे ग्रुप का वो जो पोस्टर है उसको देखेगा, उसके फीचर्स को डिस्कस करेगा. क्या सिमिलैरिटीज थी सब में वो डिस्कस करेंगे. ऑफ कोर्स हमको बीच बीच में बोलना है, अच्छा बताओ व्हाट आर द सिमिलैरिटीज दैट यू फाइंड, ओके व्हाट आर द डिफरेंसेस दैट यू फाइंड, व्हाट आर द पॉजिटिव थिंग्स दैट यू फाइंड एंड व्हाट यू थिंक इज मिसिंग इन ईच ऑफ देम. सो ऐसे करते करते यू विल सी दैट दे आर रिफ्लेक्टिंग ऑन व्हाट इज टू बी डन इन वन पोस्टर, व्हाट इज रॉन्ग इन समथिंग. इन दिस प्रोसेस दे विल डिस्कस दैट किसी में मैम ये बहुत ज्यादा वर्ड लिमिट है, मतलब बहुत ज्यादा इंफॉर्मेशन लिख दिया गया है. किसी में इलस्ट्रेशन ड्राइंग के बारे में कुछ उन्हें पता चलेगा. अपील, पर्पस, ऑल दीज टॉपिक्स दैट वी डिस्कस व्हाइल डूइंग पोस्टर मेकिंग. आई थिंक 11th या 12th में है, हमारे तो 11th में है पोस्टर मेकिंग. सो व्हाइल डूइंग पोस्टर मेकिंग वी डिस्कस द वर्ड लिमिट, द फॉर्मेट, the purpose of writing a notice, the appeal it should have, all these things. They will study real posters collected from the real world as in which actually happened, not just a made up thing. आपको मिल जाते हैं पोस्टर्स, बाहर बहुत सारे पोस्टर्स मिलते हैं फ्लायर्स मिलते हैं, तो वो सारे पोस्टर्स एज ए टीचर मैं अपने पास रखूंगी, उस एक्टिविटी के बाद में उन्हें दिखाऊंगी कि ये देखो, ये है कुछ प्रोफेशनल लोगों के द्वारा बनाए गए पोस्टर. So these things will be put up by the teacher. Abstract conceptualization, which is the third stage. Here, with the help of the activities they did, they will come to an understanding and they will know. They can now be very sure that yes, a poster has to be written in this manner. Illustrations need to be used, but they need not be very elaborate. The word limit should be around 50, because if we use a lot of words, other people who are seeing it, they will not find it very interesting. ये उनको मैंने बताया नहीं, पर जब वो लोग वो पोस्टर्स देख रहे होंगे ना, उनको अपने आप ही आ रहा होगा कि इसके ग्रुप वाले ने तो इतना इंफॉर्मेशन लिख दिया है कि मन नहीं कर रहा पढ़ने का, जबकि इस वाले में ड्राइंग है तो अट्रैक्टिव लग रहा है. तो ऑल दिस इंफॉर्मेशन इज एक्चुअली दिस, ये इंफॉर्मेशन मेरे पास है पर उनके लिए तो ये नया क्रिएशन होना. सो इट इज न्यू नॉलेज क्रिएटेड बाय द हेल्प ऑफ द एक्सपीरियंस दे हैड. In active experimentation now, the students will be asked to make posters for social awareness, invitations, advertisements, announcements. And not just in that class. In our school, we have a lot of co-curricular activities. Just the other day, we had National Youth Day in January. Then there is World AIDS Day. तो ऐसे प्रोग्राम्स भी हमारे स्कूल में होते रहते हैं जहाँ पे बच्चों को कहा जाता है पोस्टर मेकिंग के लिए. So they will be now able to use this knowledge in the real world also. So this is an entire circle, entire cycle of experiential learning where they learn something and they also conclude it in real life situation. I think I have been clear.
Yeah, ma'am, it's very nicely explained.
Okay, so now please come up with one example. Anyone? How will you put it in all these 4 categories? बहुत elaborate होने की जरूरत नहीं है. Just choose a topic and put it in these 4 brackets.
I think for teaching prepositions, this activity may be just used actually.
Yes, sir. How? And somebody else also wants to speak, but I am not able to see their name. Wait a second. Anita Rawat ma'am and Rajesh Shyam sir. Yes. Whoever wants to. Just one example from your side. राजेश सर, preposition, how will you do it? Preposition के लिए आप कौन सा activity choose करेंगे? Which activity?
Actually, a ball and a container. I think a box may be just taken for this purpose. Actually.
I could not hear you.
Actually, we can just take a ball and a box, and by showing different positions, we can just develop these 4 stages. I think.
Okay. Okay. So I would like to reiterate here that if I had shown only the video, जो मैंने first step में जो video के बारे में बात की, if I only show this video and that is it, and then I tell you, see, this is how a poster is made. ऐसे ऐसे words देख रहे हो तुम कि कितना कम use करना है, चलो आप poster बनाओ. This will not be experiential learning. Okay. For example, if I am teaching, let's say एक छोटे क्लास का मैं एग्जाम्पल दे रही हूँ. The different type of services that people offer, ना, postman, doctor, then engineer, plumber, all these jobs are there. मैं बहुत ही अच्छे तरीके से मैं बहुत बड़े बड़े पोस्टर्स बना के लाऊं क्लास में, अच्छे से सजा दूं और बच्चों को दिखाऊं, ये देखो, that's a doctor, that's a plumber. चाहे मैं कितना भी कलरफुल बनाऊं क्लास में, बच्चे उसको देख के कितना भी एक्साइटेड हो जाए, वो एक्सपीरियंशियल लर्निंग नहीं कहलाएगा. That won't be experiential learning because there I am telling them, of course, in an interesting manner, and they are finding it very interesting. They are looking at the pictures, they are talking, but no, they are not reflecting, they are not forming any concept, they are not experiencing something authentic, right? So that is what is different between experiential learning and any other sort of learning. And when we talk of different pedagogies like art integration, storytelling method, sports integrated, service method of service giving, there is something like that also. So these are all which can be done in an experiential sort of manner. So in experiential learning, from the discussion that we had, we know that this plays a very important role, which is our five senses. We need to maximize their involvement of these five senses in whatever way we can in each activity that we plan to make it a successful learning experience. Sight, hearing, two of the things which are used very frequently. Touch and smell can also be included if the context of the chapter is. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Of course, the last one we cannot really utilize it that much in the setup that we have. So it's quite risky for we don't know who has allergy and whatnot. But in chemistry classes, the smell and taste, it works for other disciplines in a very good manner. Talking about disciplines, one important factor of experiential learning is being interdisciplinary. Whenever you are trying to frame an activity, you have to think of different ways of integrating the knowledge or experiences of other subjects also into that particular activity. It will only enrich the activity and reinforce the ideas in the mind of the children. So what is our role then? सब बच्चों को करना है तो हमारा रोल क्या है? I would like to ask you. ये तो बहुत child centric है, तो हम क्या करें? हमको क्या करना है? There are so many participants. I request somebody to reflect कि अगर ये child centric process हम class में करा रहे हैं, so as a teacher, what is my role?
Actually, we can facilitate
Please that of a facilitator.
Thank you, sir. A facilitator. We need to be facilitators. And how can we work on ourselves? That is also something that we need to think about. We have to be thinking of different ways. For example, I did not show you one slide. I actually listed NEP 2020 is something that now we all, I think, by heart हो चुका है. इतने बार हम discuss करते हैं NEP. NEP में भी experiential learning के लिए बहुत ही ज़्यादा importance और emphasis दिया गया है. It says in 4.6 section that in all stages, experiential learning will be adopted, including hands-on learning, art integrated, sports integrated, storytelling based, among others, as standard pedagogy within each subject, and with explorations of relations among different subjects. To close the gap in the achievement of learning outcomes, classroom transactions will shift towards competency-based learning and education. The assessment tools will also be aligned with the learning outcomes, capabilities, and dispositions as specified for each subject of a given class. So, क्योंकि NEP ने teachers should inculcate the hidden abilities of learners, says Radhesham sir. Yes, sir, absolutely. In the process of experiential learning, इसी में बहुत सारे hidden talents सामने आ जाते हैं, जो हमें पता भी नहीं होते हैं. And experiential learning is also a very good way of, getting those students who we usually call backbenchers. They will find your classes so much engaging, and they will find it so interesting if there is something for them to do. And in this context, and in the context of experiential learning, you have to keep in mind Gardner's the theory of multiple intelligences, that each child has something unique which cannot be just explored by a unidirectional method. So this method is going to give that opportunity to the child, which Radhesham sir has pointed out, that each learner will have certain things which are unique to him or her, and that will come out while they are engaged in experiential learning. As teachers, we have a thing called continuous professional development, And there are so many courses which focus on experiential learning these days, and this is something which is it flows. It is not stagnant. So as teachers also, we cannot be stagnant. We have to think of unique and innovative ideas. So as teachers, we have to do that. We have to think of ideas and put that into use in our classroom. Here are certain things which will tell you how our role is also important, very important, because planning and the essential component is something that we can control. So, first of all, as a teacher, it is my duty to choose the realistic goals, the learning outcome. That is our
अभी नहीं
responsibility.
बनाना हमारे लिए क्या है?
So, Varsha ma'am, do you want to say something? Okay.
मालूम मैडम को क्या कहना है?
सर आप कुछ बोलना चाहते हैं?
जानो बेजाने कब हो निर्णय तुम लोग का.
Okay. So I'm continuing. Choosing realistic goals, learning outcomes according to the student's level, according to their previous knowledge. I have to decide that. On the basis of that, I have to pick up exciting topics from the lesson. We have to know the student's needs and talents. I cannot assume them to know something which they do not. So keeping that in mind, I have to design everything. I have to use a range of teaching approaches and methods and select appealing resources and experiences that are relevant and linked to the children's lives and context, and fair assessment and evaluation is also there. Okay. So this is also a table which will show you stepwise what we have to do. And anyway, you will get all this information if you want. So now I think we have 20 more minutes. I would like to invite any questions that you might have. One second. Okay, so thank you, sir, that this session made you enthusiastic, but I also would like to hear something from your side. Any question, any queries, any opinion, any reflection?
Actually, ma'am, your session was really good one. So, in some way or the other way, we all the teachers try to use all these techniques in our classroom, but not in that systematic way. Actually, now we have learned that if we just plan this our experimental teaching, then it will work better. I think. So we hope that in future we will just do a better job.
Ma'am, we have gone through your presentation, and I'm really proud that you are one among ourselves, because before you, all the experts, they were not teachers, but you are also on the same platform that we are in. Your presentation was really very nice, especially the way of teaching poster making. The way you illustrated was quite impressive, and I really thank you for very nice presentation.
Thank you so much, sir. Appreciation really means a lot. And I can give more examples. Just recently, I would like to share, we still have time. Yesterday only I took a class where we were supposed to discuss feminism and equality, gender equality. So what I want to say is that each and every topic you can find something which will take you into this experiential mode. So because we had to discuss gender equality, all I asked the students was a simple activity. And online classes, it is sometimes more challenging. So what they had to do was at their whatever place they are in, they had to make two lists. female members of their family and male members of their family, and the name of the family member, relationship they have with them, and what do they do in their life, like वो क्या है, क्या करते हैं. तो उन्होंने ये लिस्ट बनाई दोनों. उसके बाद हर बच्चे से मैंने कहा चलो अपनी लिस्ट शेयर करो. तो उन्होंने बहुत एंथुसियास्टिकली बताया, आई हैव अ aunt, शी इज अ हाउसवाइफ, आई हैव टू अंकल्स, दे वर्क इन रेलवे. जब पूरा का पूरा हो गया एक्टिविटी, उनको मैंने वो चीज स्क्रीन में प्रेजेंट करके बस दिखाई कि मुझे फ्रैक्शन में बताओ, अगर 9 फीमेल मेंबर है उसमें से कितने बाहर काम करते हैं उसका फ्रैक्शन बताओ, और अगर मेल मेंबर्स हैं तो वो कितने में से कितने लोग काम करते हैं वो बताओ. तो सबका फ्रैक्शन आ रहा था कैसे, फीमेल के लिए आ रहा था 1/3, मेल के लिए आ रहा था 6/6. तो मोस्टली मेजोरिटी का ऐसा ही था. तो ऑटोमेटिकली एट द एंड ऑफ द एक्टिविटी वो समझ गए, दे कुड रिफ्लेक्ट that acha, in our society women do not really go out and work that much because all of them are from the same locality, we are all from Kharagpur. So this activity got them thinking, and then in the concrete conceptualization they talked about how education matters, the society's mindset, etc. So at the end I gave them something to write. So it was a cycle that happened. So, if you can think of these kind of situations in any chapter that you are teaching, it can happen in grammar in a wonderful way. Grammar में तो बहुत ही अच्छे तरीके से हो सकता है. So, it is my request that now all of you should do this activity in each and every class. हर chapter के साथ ही कीजिए. ज़्यादा time नहीं लगता है if you plan it properly. So, I think that is what I had to say. Any queries? I am there to answer. कोई पार्ट नहीं समझ में आया हो या कुछ तो बता सकते हैं. और आई थिंक गंगा
Hello,
से
ma'am. Hello, ma'am.
yes yes
Yeah,
Karulal.
I'm Karulal Jamra from Ratlam.
Yes.
First of all, I would like to beg my apology. Is actually today we have been instructed by our principal to take the classes, as there are not so many days remain for the examination. So I'm extremely sorry for not attending the session before lunch. But actually, at last in last 2 hours, whatever I saw, it was really amazing and really wonderful experience I had today. Actually, when we were taking the training from British Council in Bhopal for 3-4 years, we were also given the same kind of activities, and the things which you shared here. We are still trying to do something like out of it. But this is my kind request to you to please share the PDF if it is possible. Because
Yes,
before
sure.
lunch I could not, before lunch I could not attend. So I will go through it and I will be benefited from it. So, madam, please. If you
Yes,
have
sir,
the PDF,
definitely. I will share it.
yeah. So thank you very much for such a
Thank
nice
you so much.
and wonderful sharing with us. Thanks a
Sir,
lot.
don't like give unnecessary feedback in between. All these things can be done later on. If you have related something like related to topic, you please say that. Like attending something not previously or later on sharing content, that can be done later on. As of now, if you have something specific related to topic, please ask. Ma'am, please continue.
Yes, sir. So this PDF will be shared, and the examples, I think, some of the examples are there in the PDF, and there are certain benefits that all of you could understand. One
Sorry, sorry,
benefit,
sorry.
yes, there is one thing which we all know the benefits of experiential learning, like it is more effective because the retention it improves. If you teach something, as we have discussed, that while you are teaching them in experiential mode, it will be more effective because they will retain that information or knowledge for a longer period of time. It is application based learning, so they will know that how and when to apply this in their own life. And growth as an individual, that is something that we need to talk here, because when somebody is doing something with a team or independently also with this method, certain things develop like self monitoring, self control. So as a person also a lot of qualities are going to get enhanced. Okay. Other than that, there is something called uncertainty competence, which is a thing of today. What is uncertainty competence? There is a knowledge overload these days. बहुत सारा नॉलेज इधर से उधर से, इतना इंटरनेट का एक्सेस है बच्चों को कि उनको अगर एक टॉपिक पे आप लिखने देंगे ग्लोबल वार्मिंग के लिए, वो सर्च करेंगे तो उनको तो बहुत सारे आएंगे. जब बच्चे एक्सपीरियंशियल लर्निंग करने लगते हैं, दे बिकम बेटर जजेस. किस चीज को कैसे जज करना है, they become better at analysis. So the uncertainty competence, that is, which one or which information should I rely on, which website is better, this also develops while they are doing, for example, projects. Project based learning is a part of experiential learning. So when they are doing project based learning, that is also helping them learn which information or which source of information is more reliable. This is also very much required as a 21st century skill. Other than that, as we discussed, they become more critical, they become more creative, and the benefit, which is I think the it should top the list of benefits, is that they are doing it in a safe environment. हम बार बार बोलते हैं एक्सपीरियंशियल लर्निंग के टाइम पे कि उनके रियल लाइफ के साथ जोड़ना है, तो कोई गलती जब वो रियल लाइफ में जाके करेंगे तो उसका उनको नुकसान हो जाएगा. वही गलती वो क्लासरूम में कर ले, they can make that mistake in the class. For example, collaboration and teamwork is also a skill that comes from experiential learning. बाहर जाके झगड़ लेंगे, इससे अच्छा अपनी क्लास में ही टीम मेंबर से पहले झगड़ लें, फिर सीख जाएंगे कि कैसे टीम के साथ काम करना पड़ता है. So that when they are outside in their office, they are in college, they know what is the decorum, they know how to handle situations, they know how to handle differing opinions. So this is one benefit, which is, I think, a benefit enough for us to start experiencing this, that they learn in a safe space. वहां उनको कोई जज नहीं कर रहा, वहां उनका इसका कोई डायर कॉन्सिक्वेंस नहीं हो रहा. So this learning on the way is something that comes out of an experiential learning. And of course, lastly, there is something that demonstrable learning outcomes. जो learning outcomes हम डिसाइड कर लेते हैं ना, वो काफी हद तक डेमोन्स्ट्रेट हो जाते हैं हमारे सामने एक्सपीरियंशियल लर्निंग के पीरियड में ही. जो कि हम लोग बोलते हैं ना कि हमें लास्ट में असेसमेंट नहीं करना है, हमें थ्रू आउट असेसमेंट करना है. सो इफ यू वांट टू डू द असेसमेंट थ्रू आउट द प्रोसेस, दिस इज द वे टू गो. So while learning, while doing their learning, and while learning they are assessing themselves, and as teachers we are assessing them. So I think that with that I will conclude my session. Sir, I have concluded my
Yes.
session with this.
Thank
Anyone
you.
has?
Thank you very much, ma'am. Now, if they have any question, any query, they can unmute and ask. We'll have just 5 minutes left to ask the questions and queries.
Madam, please tell how can we use in experiential learning while we are teaching literature, especially abstract topics, poems?
Okay, sir. Definitely. I don't know whether my syllabus matches your syllabus. Does it? CBSE?
It matches. We are using NCERT textbooks.
Okay. So, sir, what should I give an example of? Right now, I just used an example.
Use about Tiger King. Can you use the same if they have taught the poem, the Tiger King?
Sir, Tiger King, the prose is actually now out of syllabus.
Sorry, Tiger King, not Aunt Jennifer's Tigers.
Aunt Jennifer's Tigers. So let me, I just discussed it. I will discuss it again. The Aunt Jennifer's Tigers, it is a poem, a part of our literature. So Aunt Jennifer's poems, while I was teaching them, because I wanted to highlight the disparity between women and men, how women are restrained in certain manners. So I gave them an activity that it is also in online class that I did it. So experiential learning can also happen in online class. I gave them the activity, I'm repeating it actually. I gave them this activity that they have to make a call came actually. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, so they had to make lists, female members of their family and male members of their family. And what was their relationship with them? Father, uncle, brother, cousin, and what do they do? Electrician, हाउसवाइफ, डॉक्टर, इंजीनियर, जो भी है. तो उन्होंने 2 लिस्ट बना लिए. फिर पूरी क्लास को मैंने कहा चलो अपना लिस्ट बताओ. So बहुत एक्साइटेड हो गए. हाँ, my mother's name is this and she is a housewife. My mother's name is this, she is a lawyer. And similarly सबने, मैंने एटलीस्ट 5-6 बच्चों ने ये किया. Then उनको मैंने फ्रैक्शन में बताने के लिए कहा कि टोटल कितने मेंबर्स हैं, उनमें से कितने काम करने वाले हैं, ये बताओ. तो जैसे ही वो लोग ने फीमेल का बताना स्टार्ट किया, हर बच्चे का, मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स थे, देयर फ्रैक्शन वाज which clearly showed that women are not going out to work. They are restricted in their houses. So it was like 3/5 for female members, while it was 5/5 for male members. In some family, it was 0/6 for female members, and for male members, it was 6/6. तो 6 के 6 आदमी जा रहे थे काम करने, जबकि 6 औरतों में से एक औरत भी नहीं जा रही थी काम करने. तो जब उन्होंने सारा अपना ये लिस्ट बताया, then I told them, what did you learn from this activity? What do you reflect on it? So they said, ma'am, we observed that mostly all the male members who are above 21, they are going out to work, while the women, they are mostly housewives. So then I asked, so tell me, is it possible that all these women, they did not have any dream? They never had any dream. Is it practical that she was also a child like you once? उनका कोई ड्रीम ही नहीं था, क्योंकि हम बचपन में बोलते हैं ना, हम ये बनेंगे बड़े होके. तो तुम्हें लगता है कि ये सारी औरतें जो नहीं काम करती हैं, उन्होंने बचपन से कभी बोला नहीं होगा कि हम ये बनेंगे बड़े होके? Then they started developing, they started making this concept in their mind that yes, the inequality exists, and they started enumerating the reasons of inequality. So while they were discussing all these reasons, it became quite evident the restrictions of married life. And then, of course, we started discussing the poem. And after that, I will be doing the assessment, which I haven't done. But of course, in the assessment part, it will come how Aunt Jennifer's life can be the symbol of all the women who are subjugated in the patriarchal society. So that is an example, sir. And we can use role plays, and we can use games, we can use field trips also. A lot of things, literature or science or grammar, doesn't matter. You just need the concept, you just need the context, you need an activity. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
ma'am.
All right. Any other?
I too want to know about the lesson journey to the end of the earth. Actually, it is full of technical words and it's a little bit lengthy, I think. So how can it make easier by using this activity?
I will not share my experience here because I have read something. I think you all have gone through that chapter. We are not afraid to die. In We Are Not Afraid to Die also there is something related to the voyage and all. So there the children, they were asked to make things. So making models also is part of experiential learning. So Journey to the End of the Earth, in the last 2 years, I did not teach it. Okay, so I have never used any thing. The year that I joined, it was there, but now it's not in the syllabus. So maybe some of you can come up with an example, or I will take also 1 or 2 minutes and I can come up with an example. But sir, there are so many chapters. Examples can be made. You just need a few minutes. Journey to the End of the Earth is about journeys. So why not include some movie or documentary of Antarctica, how people go to Antarctica and what are their findings. You show them the video, they experience the video, and then they reflect on what they saw, and then with your help and your instructions, they form certain concepts. Your job is to choose that correct video which is related to the chapter. So showing videos is also a way of experiential learning. So Rajesh Srivastava sir, was I able to answer your question?
You have shown me the way, and I will just try to just do something, and I will show you, and then
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
For example, that Tutankhamun chapter that we have on Egyptology, there is a documentary by BBC, which is amazing. You show it to them, they will find the chapter very interesting.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Ma'am, when we are discussing a poem or a prose lesson, Then, if a teacher narrates the background of the lesson, a thought process is
Yes, sir.
created in students' mind, and it is also a form of experiential learning.
Yes, sir. आवाज आ रही थी आपकी, sir.
It will be a better form of experiential learning if you do it in a storytelling method, sir. If you are only giving them information with the mindset of providing them with facts, their mind will wander here and there. So if their mind is not there, you cannot call it successful experiential learning,
Now,
because mind is
for
what
example,
is.
take a lesson Indigo from
Yes.
Flamingo. If we want to teach this
So
lesson,
today your
then
voice is not so clear as previous day.
we have
Okay.
to give the background of
Definitely, but sir, why will you give the background information? Are they not capable of finding the information themselves? Can't you make that possible for them by giving them certain links,
my point
certain
is, if you create an environment in the class, it is also an experience.
Definitely, sir. The discussion part is also very important. Discussion part is also very important. But as far as the chapter like Indigo is concerned, if you take it like
Here I'll discuss a bit.
You are doing an amazing job. Congratulations and keep it up. Yeah, I'm looking for lying down and listening to her.
Echoing.
so there is some
That's why.
background noise.
मेरी आवाज थोड़ी सी sir.
If somebody is speaking, please mute yourselves. Those who are not speaking, can you please mute yourselves? Anita Rawat, ma'am. Yes, thank you. Yes, Vijay sir. So I think what you mean to say, it's quite clear. Yes, a learning environment.
Yeah.
And there on one of the slides there was a point that it has to be the transaction has to be there. The process has to be transactional. So the transaction is not between the teacher and the student only. It is about the environment.
Okay.
The learning environment plays a very important role. So when you are discussing things, when people are engaging in conversations, it definitely is providing them an experience. Public speaking, for example, they are getting better with putting their points across. There are there are certain fields where there is a stage called group discussion. In order to get to the next level, they have to go through a group discussion. So a group discussion is definitely a way of experiencing things. Yes, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Especially when we are dealing with historical lessons.
Yeah. And we have a lot of chapters, like last lesson.
Yeah, if we just give a background of the context, it creates a lot of interest in the students. I have been using this.
Definitely, but my point is that background information that you are giving to them, that has to be done in a different manner. Just reading out or telling them, it has to be done in a bit of a different manner. Okay, I am getting a message that my internet is not stable. So please let me know if anything goes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else?
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
You have taken a lot of questions. Last question now.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks. I'm feeling very nice meeting and educationist like you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening, sir.
That's all. I think
I am Anil Kumar Napit, sir. Please send the link, sir, so that I can also add in your WhatsApp group.
I'll share that. I'll share that later. Tomorrow I'll share you all. So I think I'd grab this opportunity to say a lot of thanks to Reshmi ma'am. She had built on her personal experience as a teacher and also had shared her experience as how even in online experiential learning can be done and how we should build on children's experience to give them any concept and teach them any concept. So this is something which is a watchword of an EP also. A lot of discussion has a lot of input is given on to how to make learning very experiential for learnings. So thank you very much, ma'am, for sharing it, sharing the topic on this very eminent topic of NEP, which is experiential learning. I hope this must have been very useful for our course takers, for our teachers, and they will use the same in their classroom. So, on behalf of all the participants in NCRT, I'd like to thank you. Thank you very much, Namaskar.
Thank you
We
so
can
much, sir.
stop.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you so much.
We're going to stop here, and maybe we can start. We'll start tomorrow at 10:20. So I request all of you to join on time. Thank you very much. Bye for now. Good night. Namaskar.
Thank you very much, sir.